Good morning. It's another beautiful day. The sky is blue, and that is blue. There's no rain forecast for the rest of the month. This is our rainiest month. It's where we get most of our rain for the year, and we haven't had any really to speak of. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. We're enjoying this warm weather. It's really warm up here. Sometimes down below it, in the lower elevations, it can get kind of cold at night in the 40s, like it did last night. It got really cold. All right, we're looking out at the Pacific. My thoughts are going to be on peak oil and Easter Island. I would love it if everyone that watches this video would stop right now and go watch the peak oil videos, at least one of them in my favorites on YouTube, and then come back and watch this. Let's say that we did hit peak oil in 2005 and that everything runs on oil, and pretty much everybody says the same thing, that oil depletion is coming, that there isn't any alternatives to match oil at all. So my question has to be, how is that going to look in society? If we hit the peak and we go off the downward slope, getting less and less oil, running out low, more and more people asking for something that there's not that much of, what will that look like? Well, Easter Island's a good example of what happens. If you'll go and study Easter Island, go find a good documentary on YouTube, if there's still any available. It's getting harder to find on YouTube, but Easter Island, if you can't see the video, go read about it. That's another good one. That really happened. There's also another scenario of Cuba. Cuba had their peak oil back in the 70s, and we put the oil embargo on them. They've learned to live without oil as much. They still have oil, but they have less of it, and they learned how to live their entire society without it. Here's kind of the interesting thing is, though, Cuba didn't have any mortgages to pay for, or any bank loans to pay for. They worked for the state pretty much, and were housed by the state. So really, Cuba had to worry about food. As far as jobs and all that, there were plenty of those. I don't know, that's another good documentary if you can find it, is Cuba and their peak oil. So anyway, there it is. That's 4 minutes of rambling. I know there's not much anybody can do about peak oil, or what happens if the peak ends up being, after you get off a peak, it's a very sharp downward turn. What would that sort of look like? It might look like, tomorrow gasoline goes up 50 cents. The next day it goes up 75 cents. The next day it's up to $5. A week later it's up to $6. 3 days after that it's up to $8. 2 days after that it's up to $15. When you go off a cliff, it gets pretty bad. A lot of people are saying it might be slower, so that we'll see $5 a gallon increases every 2 months or 3 months. But still, after it gets up to $15 or $16 a gallon, things are going to change forcibly. When that is, nobody seems to be able to put a date on it yet. As far as storing canned foods, that's about as worthless as, well, there's a lot of reasons you don't want to waste your money with canned foods. First of all, we don't know when this is going to happen. It might happen 10 years from now. The experts are saying it's going to happen within a year or so. You can leave your thoughts on Pink Barrio, and I'll put some links there that you can go to, and like Easter Island study and that sort of thing. So go look at Pink Barrio. We're all about doing something about all this. Check the rest of the site out. Till next time.